Aubameyang saves the day, City plan double Dortmund swoop, PSG join Gini race, a transfer roundup, and today's Friday feels all coming up in the next few minutes as I am your host Matt Froelich, you are the OneFootballers, and this is the Daily News. So first up, Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang saved the day as always for Arsenal in an enthralling game against Benfica, which has seen them through to the last 16 of the Europa League. This video is actually being recorded before the Europa League draw, so as soon as it comes out, let everyone else know in the comments section which team is facing up against the other. But as for Arsenal, they will be in the draw because, well, they managed to leave it a little bit late, but they just came through in the end. As mentioned before, Aubameyang was the hero, but there were a few mistakes which Arsenal are definitely going to have to iron out of their game if they're to go seriously far in this competition. Most importantly, the likes of Dani Ceballos not doing what he did. A poor-headed back pass to Bernardo meant that Benfica could slip in, and I believe it was Rafa who managed to get the goal. Anyway, this meant that Arsenal were left with the task of scoring 2 goals to try and win the game. Kieran Tierney did it to make it 2-2 on the night, and then Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang nodded in the winner. Now, the winning goal came from Bukayo Saka, who actually had to shift to a sort of right-back position and still came up with the assist. The guy is unbelievable. 19 years old, Arsenal, you better time down to a long-term contract because he could be the future, not even for Arsenal, but for England as well. And the longer that their run in the competition goes, the more exposure he's going to get around Europe, and everyone is going to see what a fantastic player he is. Over the 2 legs, I didn't actually think Arsenal played too badly, and considering that both legs were basically away from home for both sides, they both put in a pretty good shift, but it is Arsenal who go through, along with quite a few other teams that you wouldn't necessarily expect. Slavia Prague pulled off a brilliant 2-0 win against Leicester. Right, this is Leicester to sit 3rd in the Premier League, so they have been knocked out. So have Hoffenheim, who lost to Molde. Young Boys beat Leverkusen. There was a stunning 9-5 victory on aggregate for Rangers against Antwerp. AC Milan just made it through after 2 draws with Belgrade. Napoli crashed out at the hands of Granada. Manchester United didn't even need to try last night as they drew 0 with Real Sociedad. Obviously, that 4-0 victory in the first leg coming in handy. And lastly but not least, Roma also won their game as they go through to the next round. And the fact Edin Dzeko got on the goal scoring sheet, meaning that he now has 29 goals in European competitions for Roma, making him their highest European scorer ever, overtaking the legendary Francesco Totti. But moving on from last night's action and to some transfer news, because of course, transfer news and Erling Haaland are just going to go hand in hand until he actually moves. Sorry guys, but that's the latest. The latest news is that Manchester City are interested in not only him, but a double swoop from Dortmund involving Haaland and Reyna. Apparently over 100 million is the price tag being talked about, and that's pretty obvious. I mean, over 100 million is probably just going to be for Haaland alone. Never mind also bringing Reyna. Apparently the deal is going to see the 18-year-old stay at Dortmund for another season, with Haaland moving to Manchester City in the summer. Now, this report, I actually read it on 90minute.com, I believe, is something that I'm not so sure I can kind of get behind, because it looks like the link has been made basically because both of the players' dads also played for Manchester City. I think Haaland and Reyna have a fair few years' experience playing for the blue half of Manchester, and whilst I know that that could maybe tempt the players into doing something a little bit romantic when it comes to football, like following in their father's footsteps, this, that and the other, this was a completely different Manchester City era. Like, they are legends for the club, but in terms of today's, what makes a Manchester City legend today, they're at a completely another world of football compared to those in the late 90s and early 2000s. So it's not exactly for those reasons why I can see that Manchester City would want those players. Like, it's probably based on their ability and the financial decisions to be made in the modern day, rather than just, well, their dads played for us, so we might as well sign their sons as well. Obviously, Haaland definitely fits the bill. I'm not completely sold on Reyna just yet, although he has had a very, very good start for a youngster coming into the Dortmund team. As to whether or not it'll happen, who knows? This one I'm not putting so likely. Certainly not the double swoop. Moving on though, and to a deal that actually is very likely, and it's Gini Wijnaldum leaving Liverpool. Still hasn't signed a new deal. It looks like he's not going to as his contract runs out in a few months, and PSG are the latest name to be interested in the Dutchman. He has had talks with Barcelona. We've heard about this for the last 8 months or so, and it looks as though he was going to move under his compatriot Ronald Koeman, but Financial pressures mean that they haven't been able to offer a concrete deal just yet, and PSG and Mauricio Pochettino could dive in for the player. Pochettino actually wanted Wijnaldum at Spurs many years ago, and now could be his chance to get him. At the moment, he is on £75,000 a week at Liverpool, and that seems kind of criminal considering his contribution to the club over the last few years. But anyway, 75k is nothing for PSG. I can't tell you how little money per week that is for PSG. Obviously, if he moved to the club, he could ask for more, 120, whatever. There's nothing for PSG, especially when they're signing him on a free transfer. And on top of this, the club have made quite a few signings of Premier League midfielders in recent years. So Gini Wijnaldum will be following the likes of Angel Di Maria, Idrissa Gueye, and Ander Herrera as well from swapping the Premier League for Liga. Again, like I always say with PSG, this would be another good deal that would only help them further dominate in Liga. I'm not sure this is a Champions League winning signing of Gini Wijnaldum, but hey, it's a pretty good deal on a free transfer. Elsewhere, and as well as Barcelona, still interested, just maybe not able to compete, Inter Milan are also said to be looking at the player because, well, Antonio Conte loves taking a player from the Premier League and fitting them into his system absolutely perfectly. Next up then, a quick roundup of the rest of the day's transfer news that you might have missed, and after leaving Atletico Mineiro, coach Jorge Sampaoli has apparently agreed to be the next manager of Marseille. Next up, and PAOK apparently wants 17 million euros for their youngster Christos Tzolis, who has been attracting interest from Dortmund and Barcelona. Roma want to make Borja Mayoral's loan move from Real Madrid a permanent one in the summer, and some reports coming out of the UK that they are ready to host the whole Euro 2021 tournament. Forget about it being over in a lot of countries, it will just be in the UK instead. Of course, this is just a rumour at the moment, and obviously with COVID results pending. Lastly then, we come to this week's Friday Feels. This is where you guys leave your footballing predictions in the comment section down below, and we read out a few of the correct ones on Monday's daily news. Of course, I always say this, another big weekend of football. No less in the Portuguese league, as league leaders, undefeated league leaders, Sporting head to Porto and are actually going to go for a 2-1 win for Sporting. In the Bundesliga, and as RB Leipzig face off against Gladbach and going for a 3-2 victory for Julian Nagelsmann's men. And in the Premier League, Chelsea, Thomas Tuchel's Chelsea, play host to Manchester United. It's going to be a tough game for both sides. I'm going to go with a 1-1 draw. So there you have it, you guys. Let me know your Friday feels down below, your thoughts on the rest of its daily news, and check out everything else we've got going on at OneFootball by clicking here. But until next time, have a great weekend, and I'll see you guys later.